All right, we recording.
Okay.
But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for joining us tonight. This is a men club. I wasn't ready. I'm gonna do that again. Try that one more time. It was saying I wasn't even ready. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for joining us once again. This is a men's code. All right, y'all. Excuse me. I really wish I had recorded the last hour of talking that Jack and I was having before everybody got on. But I'm gonna try to bring some of it back up. Uh, we was talking about the shooting in where was it, Jack? Grand Rapids, Michigan, or something, right?
Yeah, yeah, Michigan. I
Okay,
want to see Grand Rapids.
I think it was Grand Rapids, Michigan, where I haven't seen the video yet, so I can just tell you what I've heard so far. That a cop pulled a man over, supposed to been a traffic stop, and the guy resisted, ran away from him. They fought, and at some point during the wrestling or the fighting that they was doing, the officer pulled out his gun and shot the man in the back of the head. Now, Jackie was saying that no matter what, well, I'll let you tell her. What was your comment about that, Jack?
Um, First of all, I think he's from Africa, African, from Africa. So new to the country, so not used to, I guess, being pulled over by the police. I think it was for a out of date tag, possibly something like that. And I guess the guy was in a sense resisting, I guess, and maybe started a little. It was a foot chase, and the police caught up to him, and began wrestling on the ground. And my thing is, I don't know how much knowledge he have of policing in the United States, but to anybody, my thing is just your main goal, it should be to get home. Get home. In other words, comply. Comply. I mean, it don't make you a punk. It don't make you bowing down to the so-called white man. You just complying to the law. I mean, you just complying, and you want to get home to your family. You want to live to see another day. That's just my take on it.
Okay. Well, and I appreciate your take on it.
Yeah.
Only thing that I had to say about that was I didn't want complicity to be an excuse for this man to shoot him in the back of the head because it's a lot more. It's a whole lot of different ways that he could have went about doing it. Uh, if I'm not mistaken, I do believe that shooting somebody in the back of the head in the middle of a wrestling match, or because they never said he had a gun, they never said he had a weapon, not anything that he showed anyway. All I heard was they was wrestling. He had him on the ground face down. He was on top of him. At some point, he was able to grab his gun and shoot this man in the back of the head. That sounds an awful lot like execution. That don't sound like you were defending yourself. That don't sound like you felt like your life was in danger. Because you could have simply got up, pointed the gun at him, said, "Don't move no more. And if you do, I'm gonna open fire." And he take his chance to take off running. Then now you got the right to shoot him because you don't warn him. You're not finna argue with him, wrestle with him no more. But if he still gotta, feel like he need to run, then he catch bullets. But wrestling him on the ground and you know taking advantage of the position that you got him in and shooting this man in the back of the head says a whole lot more than you just standing up and holding this man at gunpoint.
Yeah.
So not sure what's gonna be done about that, in this country, probably nothing. But he definitely, if he lost his training, I just I don't remember ever knowing any police department that trained their police to shoot people in the back of the head. Like I said, that's execution. I don't see it no other way. I
Right.
understand what you're saying about complying. We tell our kids that all the time about complying with the police so they can make it home. Punk, no punk. I don't care what nobody say about you. Get home.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
I understand that part about complicity. I do. But I really think that this guy actually took advantage of you know, of the situation, and I won't say he just wanted to kill somebody black, but he didn't think twice about it. Blue, Derek, anybody?
And I just saw the full video a couple hours ago, and for me, um, it's a story that's being replayed over and over and over. All it is a different cop and a different victim. Now, there are bigger issues, you know, about even black folks taking care of ourselves and not harming each other. That should be a hot button issue as well. But this thing here in the video day and age, where no matter what you do, you're recorded. Um, I don't know the cop. I don't even know the guy that died. But what I do know is it's enough. Enough is enough. Enough people have died for
Yeah.
the simplest traffic infractions. Now, to me, and hear me good on this. If you can blow through a school zone and they can mail you a ticket, you can't get mailed a ticket for your license plate being expired, for a tail light being out, for minor trafficking. It's always something small, this big, and then
Yeah.
it goes to somebody dying.
Right. 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 Right.
And the thing is, me, I just turned 49 a couple of weeks ago, and doggone it, when I get pulled over, I'm still afraid, knowing doggone well I'm clean.
Yeah.
Registered concealed carry holder, you name it. I got all the credentials in the world. But even as a registered concealed carry weapons holder, I will not carry my gun with me
Yeah.
because of that fear that they're not gonna ask me. They're gonna assume. And to me, the assumption was made, and that cop was fearful, not for his life. He wasn't fearful for his life. He was fearful of that black man.
Right.
And
Exactly.
it's too often. Big
Yep.
black guy, little white cop, and it's just it's a constant cycle. And you would think after George Floyd it would stop. It's been over and over and over ever since then. Cities
Well,
burned.
it's been over and over for way before George Floyd.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you remember NWA back in the days was talking about
Hmm.
how the police in LA were harassing black people,
Yeah.
killing black people, taking them off somewhere in the corner and beating the crap out of them, and
Hmm.
then drop them off in a neighborhood where they hoping that this neighborhood gonna jump on them some more. You know
And
what I'm saying? If they kill them, oh well. So it's been happening for a long time. Is more than time enough for us to be tired of it. More than I mean, I in our position, we don't have um we don't have the resource. I won't even say the resources. We're not in a position to change the laws. But what we got to do is start putting pressure on the people that can change the laws. I mean, heavy pressure. You know, the black dollar is one of the most um, influential dollar in the world. What we spend money on is really what keep the economy going. If you think about it, you know, from clothes to shoes to hats to food to whatever it is that's trending in the black neighborhood, that's what everybody else in the world want. You know, whether it's music, whatever. They always want what we got, and they'll take it and flip it and try to make it their own. And but still, they you know, I heard a comedian say, everybody want to be a nigga, but don't nobody want to be a nigga. You know, so you want our culture, you want everything about us, you want our tan skin, you want the sense of family. You know, you want the the talent. You know, you want to be built like us. You know, it's everything about us that they love and hate at the same time. So, and I say that to say this: the fearfulness of a young black man is just what it is. It's fearfulness. You know, if I can, it's almost like if I can get rid of as many young black men as I can, then the black community ain't got no future. But you don't want to kill everybody, cause you know then you ain't gonna have no culture to follow. You know, I mean, really, it's gotten pretty bad, y'all. To the really, you see Asians copying us, Mexicans copying us. You see white people copying us. You see other countries copying what Black Americans do. You know, but for some reason or another, they want our culture, but they don't want us. So it's like this: if we don't get to the polls, and that was another thing me and Jackie were talking about. These voter suppression laws, you know, the voters act or rights act or whatever crap they calling it, that has closed so many polling places in the black neighborhood. And they trying to single file people to one or two locations when you got thousands of people that are voting at one location. The line could last up to 12 hours. I remember the last election, they had closed a lot of the polls, and there was people in Atlanta waiting in the line for 10 to 12 hours to vote. One, you know, people got to work, and you don't get the day off to vote, which should be a law. It should be voting day should be a national holiday in the United States. That way, you can go stand in line as long as it takes and cast your vote, and you ain't got to worry about trying to get to the babysitter, get back to work. You know, use your whole lunch break and you still ain't voted, so you leave. And all of it is designed to discourage black and brown people from voting. Most people ain't gonna have the time to stand in line for 10 to 12 hours to vote, and they're gonna leave. And that's what they want. They came up with some bull law that you can't pass out chips and drinks and water in the voting line. Okay, you can't do that. You know, they don't want you to do anything to make people comfortable, so they'll stay in line. They want to make it as most uncomfortable as they possibly could. I read a report the other day that said they have closed 250 polling places in Atlanta with the efforts of trying to discourage people from voting. And this bull crap that they talk about the uh, uh, voter fraud. You know, they doing this to deter voter fraud. But they did a study, they did an investigation, and they found out there was absolute no voter fraud the last vote. You know, so you basing your voting right act law on false information. Well, I wouldn't even say false information. You just flat out lied, but you did it to get people to discourage black black neighborhood to vote. So, what y'all think about that?
uh, there is a fear from way back of a black planet, and there's a fear of a black America. Um, and everything is going to be done from voting to policing to redrawing district lines, you name it. I don't, you know, actively vote in Ellaville, but district lines are redrawn even in Ellaville.
Mm.
Um, so the whole purpose of that whole thing, yeah, it's to discourage because you already got a lot of us, I'll say, that believe that they one vote don't count, but your vote counts along with everybody else's. Even now, looking at the campaign commercials and all this stuff, um, Brian Kemp, every commercial he got is something against Stacey Abrams. I'm like, well, you got to get through your primary first. What you talking about her for now? You got a bigger fish to fry because your own party don't like you or support you. So why you want her? None of that makes sense.
It's interesting that you said that because Stacey Abrams is getting ready to try to get in the Senate. So she done went past trying to be governor of Georgia. She really trying to make a bid for the Senate. But like you said though, he can't help himself. That's the only thing he got. When Trump said Brian Kemp failed us, that killed him.
Yep.
So not even the very people that was praising you and wanted you to, stay in office and be governor of Georgia. Now because he done said something against you, you can't even get them to vote for you no more. So the only thing he got left is let me attack Stacey Abrams. She a liberal and she's trying to give away money. She trying to make Atlanta what is called a sanctuary city. For the illegal people that live there. Everything that all they talking points. And I'm gonna go ahead and say the Republican Party has a lot of lies and misinformation that they tell people, and they never say the whole truth. Point. Okay, this morning I don't know if y'all watch Roland Martin Unfiltered, on YouTube. But y'all remember the man Dan Abrams, right? He be on Good Morning America. He's like a law analyzer for
Oh, the
the
live
evening.
PD guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He on WGN now.
Yeah, well, he do this thing called on News Nation that he got his own show. Okay, he asked Roland Martin to come on it. Okay, they told Roland Martin that you coming on to talk about Joe Biden said that he wants to fund the police, not defund the police, and he was like, okay, that's cool. 30 seconds before they went on the air, they started talking about some tweets. He's like, what are y'all talking about? I don't have no monitor in front of me. What y'all talking about? Tweets. Some tweets I said. They were like, yeah, some tweets you put out there, that's what he gonna start off about. So he was like, okay, well, he Roland Martin like, I'm always down for a debate. I wish I had the material in front of me so I can see what y'all talking about. But it's okay, go ahead. So they go live. Dan Abrams immediately started attacking him for a tweet that he put out saying all cops should be fired or convicted of murder. Roland say, because of what? He's like, I don't know. He said, this is what you tweeted out. He's saying somebody I've been knowing for years and I respect you as a journalist and blah blah blah, this and other, then he start blowing smoke up his ass. And then the next thing I hit my was, but because you are well known and because you well established and you got your own network and you got a lot of millions of followers, that's just incredibly dangerous for you to say that all cops should be uh convicted of murder.
Right.
Bro, my like, it ain't nothing else to that tweet. Now that's it right here. He said, well, I don't have no monitor, so I can't see what you showing people. you know, he said, yeah, this is a standalone. This was the key word right here. This was a standalone tweet that you tweeted out. So Ron like, okay, he said, I'm sure that it had to be more context to that. But that got to be taken out of context. No, 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 these are your words. You said it. You said it. So he was like, okay. Then he goes to another tweet that said, the all cops should be fired. I'm like, this ain't. I don't tweet like that. You know what I'm saying? So it got to be more to that tweet than what you telling people.
Yeah.
No, these are your words. And I mean, he started going off about, he's like, I know Dan Aber is a pretty respected journalist, even though he a lawyer, and that's usually what he do. He's an analyst for ABC. So he said, it got to be something wrong here, but they went on and, they finished the segment or whatever. So, of course, as soon as he got off the air, the Roland Martin fan club, I won't even say fan club, just people that watch his show, they, if you on Twitter and you follow him, you probably got the tweet. So they start looking it up, find out what it was. They had took the top of the tweet and then showed the bottom. And what he said when he said all cops should be fired, it was a news story where I can't. It was 4 cops, I think, and they was watching one cop, harass this black woman. They had broke into her house, and he said, and I said broke into because they broke into her house, her wrong house. Harassed this woman, put her in handcuffs, marched her out in front of everybody in the apartment complex, took her to jail, and never had any evidence that she had did anything wrong. She wouldn't need the named person on the warrant. So they did all that, and then turn around, she sued the city and got $1.3 million. And he said all of those cops should have been fired. That's what he was talking about. So
situation.
yeah. So, but if you said all cops should be fired, and that's all you took out of the tweet, it make him look like, he don't want the police. He said defund all police, defund the police. He said, but you didn't read what was at the bottom, So he basically, what his tweets was about was he'll tweet something, and then on the at the bottom of the tweet you can scroll down and read the whole story. So he basically just took the top of the tweet and that's all they did. So he called him out on it. Now after he called him out on it, the man could have easily said, okay, well, my producer, that's all they gave me or whatever. I didn't know. I thought they had gave me the whole tweet. He could, all he wanted him to do, all Roland Martin wanted that man to do was publicly apologize for, this information. So he said, okay, well, I'm gonna double down on it because, regardless of what you say, that still is a standalone tweet, and it's dangerous for you to put that out there. He's like, what you mean? I mean, you did not do your research. You didn't do the whole story. Either you or your producers screwed this up. And instead of you just saying, okay, yeah, we screwed up, man, I apologize. You doubling down on it, saying that these people are correct and this was a standalone tweet. And he said it clearly was not a standalone tweet. You just didn't choose to read no fuck. And or your producers then. He said, I don't know if he just didn't want to throw his producers under the bus, but he said that man gets on his show and he dogs out Fox News for them doing the same crap, basically taking stuff out of context, reading one line, And then they don't give you the rest of the story, and them people be eating it up and they believe that crap. Well, you just did the same thing, sir.
Yeah.
You know, and you thought you was gonna bring this black. I don't even know why they fool Roland Martin. He loved to debate. That's his thing.
Yeah.
He wanted to debate all the time.
Yeah.
So why would you even bring somebody that you said you've been knowing this man for years? You should know how he operates. But you thought you gonna bring him on there and make him look bad, and he gonna get mad and blow up and all this stuff. So you can say, well, he didn't want to answer the question. He got all mad and blew up. But Roland a pro. He didn't play that game with him. So he said they are constantly calling him, want him to come back on the show so the man can apologize. He's like, I don't need them. He said, I wouldn't dare go back on that man's show because all that gonna do is get him more views and to a struggling show that ain't really getting no views. So he trying to use me as that kick up, and he said, I'm not doing it. I was just not doing it.
So that's something that's it's something that happened yesterday at lunch. I was down in Valdosta, and I got a guy I work with. He's a Fox News living, Florida living, Ron DeSantis, Trump living, you name it. If Fox News say it, he believe it.
Yep.
So I know he watched the news all day. And I asked him a serious question because I just saw something that kind of just bleeped across the news screen one day. And I saw some folks from what's the country that Russia attacking now?
Oh, Ukraine.
Ukraine, yeah. I saw some folks from Ukraine at the Mexican border trying to get in. And I was like,
what?
Yeah. I said, so who got them there? That's a long way to go.
It is a long way to go.
Yeah.
And he was like, yep, makes about as much sense as Kamala Harris. I said, thank you for saying her name right. But about time y'all got that part right. But I don't know what you was trying to do there. But if you're trying to say I'm a Kamala Harris fan, you're mistaken, sir, because I'm not. I appreciate the history that she made, but I was never a fan. I'm not sure what kind of spark you trying to create. You're not gonna get that from me at work. Ain't happening.
That's what they do. They always try to throw something up in our face when especially if you start making too much sense to them.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they'll throw everybody at you. What about Obama? What about it?
He did his job the best of his ability.
I had a dude tell me, what about Obama? I said, what about him?
No scandals.
He said he didn't really do nothing to help the black community. I said, you ain't part of the black community, so how do you know what he did or didn't do for the black community? Well, I didn't see nothing documented that he did for the black community. I say he existed as a black president. That was enough.
Yep.
That was his job.
He inspired a generation.
And that's what I was telling Jackie this earlier. That's what's wrong with the Republican Party right now. Because ever since Obama got in office, they saw that Negroes and Mexicans and everything else, liberal white people, everybody went out in droves to get that man elected. It was a landslide. It wasn't even close. Okay. And what they scared of more than anything right now is that same type of turnout, because President Obama actually sparked a lot of people to start caring about who in the White House. Start caring about who in the Senate. Start caring about who in Congress. You actually, in any black person that said that they weren't interested not in who running the country, they'd probably be lying. And it was a lot of black people that didn't like Obama. I know a couple of them. One of them even voted Republican, when Donald Trump came. I don't know why, but they thought that, and the only thing that I know is they thought that things were going to change because he wasn't a quote unquote politician. But They all had buyer's remorse after about a year or two, because it was just lie after lie after lie. He did nothing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But they always go back to he helped the economy. No, when
Uh,
President Obama left, the economy was already in good shape.
yeah,
He
yeah.
didn't.
He, he
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 didn't do a
came
thing.
after 8 years of getting it right.
Right. And
That's what
then
happened.
and remember when Obama went in, we was in a recession.
Yes,
The
sir.
bubble had busted. They had to bail out banks and all that stuff. I remember
Hmm.
him and McCain came off the campaign trail to go vote in the Senate behind
Yep.
it. That seven hundred
Hmm.
fifty trillion dollar bailout package that they gave the banks and stuff.
Yeah.
But I have actually heard somebody say that that I got two of you up here. Okay, I get the other one had froze. Like, wait a minute, how I got two idiots?
He's being evil.
Mini me.
Yeah. Man, that freaked me
Yeah.
out for a second. But
But man, look, I'm telling you this right now, on jobs, just in the street in general,
Mhm.
there is a flame that's trying to be sparked
Oh yeah,
for our overreaction to stupid statements. First of all, if you're gonna make a statement, you got to come with something with some intelligence behind it.
Mhm.
That's first and foremost. I don't care what Tucker Carlson say. you know, any of those other cats that spew false narratives. Because like right, think about it right now. You got city after city in this country that want Disney Universe. Because if Ron DeSantis don't stop what he doing, Disney World gonna leave Orlando.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They got the
It- it-
capital to do it.
oh, they got the capital to shut down a whole bunch of stuff in Florida,
Yeah.
but they usually try not to get involved, but eventually they're
You
gonna have
can't
to.
go against your biggest money maker. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that you ain't gonna never.
You just can't do
You ain't gonna never win with that one.
that.
Nope.
Because
It's
at
about
the end of every day, money is what makes states operate, what makes cities operate, what make
yeah,
the world operate. And if you is you're the primary source of why folks come to Florida.
yeah. I mean, everybody go to Disney World. Everybody. There's
Yeah.
people in California that got Disneyland and still want to come to Disney World.
Yep.
So I mean, people come from out of the country to go to Disney World, even though they might have a Disney World in their country. Everybody say it's just different. I actually love Disney World. I had a ball when we went. It was
Never
hot,
been.
and it was 1,000, 100,000,000 people because we went like the day after Christmas and stayed for a few days, not knowing that is the absolute busiest time of the year.
Oh
And
man.
when I tell you I was shoulder to shoulder, and I wasn't even waiting on a ride, I was just trying to walk through Disney World.
Oh man.
Me and my mother-in-law and her husband, we got on. We left them cats. We had to go. I couldn't take it no more. I was
Yeah.
having a panic attack. I was about to jump on somebody. I'm telling you, man, I said, if I had to stay any longer, somebody would get knocked out. And it was probably gonna be a kid. But they were rude. Just rude. Ooh. But I've said if we ever go back, it will never be during Christmas time. No better than do that again. But I don't know what possessed us to do that. But I know my wife then was saying we thought that, after Christmas people would go home. Nope. Most of the time, folk go down there for Christmas and they stay until New Year's because they had that big New Year's celebration down there. I'm glad we weren't staying that long because I mean we was the last ones to get in the park the day we went. They shut it down after we got in because it was over capacity as it was. I was like, you got to be kidding me, man. But when we got out, we took the little train around and rode it around one time. And then when we came back the second time, that's when we actually got off the train. So when we got off, I can't remember exactly where we were, but I know the what's that ride called? Where you ride the little mine train. And my daughter and them they stood in line for an hour and a half to get on that ride. It was that many people there. I was like, this is absolutely crazy. We couldn't eat. Every restaurant was loaded out.
Man.
I can't take no more. It started getting dark, man. And I got to go because I'm gonna hit one more movie gonna hit me. Just one more. There I was. I don't care if it's old woman, child, man. I don't care. One more, just one more, and I'm going off. I'm getting the rest of that D in the world. I'm telling you. And so we were like, and my mother-in-law was like, "You ready to go?" Yep. I'm glad you said something. Let's ride. I'm riding with y'all. Let's go.
I,
I
I
saw.
know I know it might be off subject, but I got a $1 million question.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
And I know we normally don't touch the church.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna tell you, there's a fine line in a church between a pastor and a dictator.
Oh.
Um,
I grew up in that environment, so excuse
yeah.
me. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Now, I won't say no names or anything like that. I won't say name of the church. I won't say where it's at. Any of that stuff. But if you're single and you bring your woman friend, girlfriend to church with you, is that your pastor business?
And
I would say
now,
no.
If you're a single man,
I
no.
say no. I
you
believe
know,
so. No. No.
and you know, I know there's some old antique bylaws in some of these churches that they operate on, and I get that. But what's the reality of it? Because as far as I could tell, since as far back as my 49 years, man and woman hadn't changed.
No.
Because usually
Right.
that's the stages of a relationship. It's the date, and then it's the second date, and then it's the hey, you want to see my folks? You want to see my mama? Hey, come to Sunday dinner. And then it go from there. They go to a movie, go to dinner, and it grows. Then we at church.
Hmm. So what was the problem they had with him bringing the girlfriend to church?
I wish I knew, because none of it made sense to me.
That one day girlfriend was.
Nope. No, not this person.
I just said that because some pastors have a reputation.
I don't know whether it's hatred, jealousy, or just the idea of wanting to rule folks' lives outside of the four walls of the sanctuary. Because
Well,
even if you're inside of it, and I work, operate, live, and go to church all the time. My pastor, real man, he's not gonna go and tell me how to live my life, how I'm supposed to drive my car, when I'm supposed to go, how I'm supposed to go, how I'm supposed to dress. He's
yeah.
not gonna do that.
Well,
So
I grew up in a situation similar to that where they was really Cro-Magnon and really primitive about the way the people in the church were supposed to behave and carry themselves.
mhm.
You holy, so you ain't supposed to do this, that, and the other. At one point I remember the church being like you can't women couldn't wear gaudy earrings, you know, like these hoops
Yeah.
and stuff that women wear now. Nah, that you ain't gonna be able to do that there. You know, you could cut your hair.
Hmm.
You know, if you had, like these women got these short feathered haircuts and stuff. No, 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 you can't do that. That was too short. If it ain't hanging down over your ears, then your hair too short. And I'm telling you, this how specific they was about things. Um, what was it? They couldn't wear pants.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you got pants on that's you ain't supposed to wear that that's likened to a man or some crap like that.
Uh,
You know,
I to me, the church is supposed to be a place where you're supposed to take in the weak, the downtrodden, the poor.
yeah,
Everybody ain't got a suit to put on Sunday.
right,
You're supposed to be able to come as you are.
Yeah.
And when you have stuff like that, and then you wonder why, man, why all the young folks going to the big church?
yeah,
Because the big church is more accepting of folks can, if you want to wear jeans and a t-shirt on for a Sunday, long as you come,
yeah. It's
as long
funny
as you
that
come.
the pastor that I listen to, what we watch on Sundays, we started watching them during the pandemic, and we actually making plans to go up there and go to church with them. Pastor YPJ up in South Bend, Indiana. I don't know if y'all ever heard of him before, but he getting a lot more famous than he was, But I love the way he teaches. I love the way he pastors. When you send money to them, they actually doing what they said they're gonna do with the money.
Yeah.
They done built a gym, they done built new bathrooms, they took a storefront and have converted it into this big gigantic church. And they got the gym, memberships for members, because they promote being healthy, and it's like we can't just talk about it. I can't promote being healthy or preach on being healthy if you ain't got nowhere to go get healthy. So they got a gym. I mean, a full-fledged gym in there. They got basketball courts and stuff. They try to run like youth program where they come play ball. They seriously are involved in the community, and they not just there to take money. They there to put money out into the community.
Yeah.
And just seeing that made me feel good about them in the first place.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, the message that he usually preached and the conviction and how he preached, always hit home. you know and one of the things that he said just this past Sunday was about people not bringing people to church no more like they used to. He
Hmm.
just got through talking about that. And he was saying that, you know, it don't matter. Tell them they ain't got to worry about wearing no suit. They ain't got to worry about if they got jogging pants and t-shirt. Longer they got their clothes on. Come on in here.
Come.
Right.
He said, now everybody that come ain't gonna stay. He said, but if we can just get them in here, you never know. You might end up changing somebody's life just by bringing
Yeah.
them to church.
Yeah.
So when I hear you say that a pastor was upset because somebody brought their girlfriend, you can't be on the right path with God if that's what you angry about. You know what I'm saying?
And the thing is and I guess, and I know growing up, you get the customs and courtesies of church. You got to wear the hard bottom shoes with the pants and the whole 3-piece suit and the shirt collar out the heel and the big old tie. But those days are done.
Yeah.
Those
mean,
days are done.
Even my church, they don't jump leaps and bounds for where they used to be.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, leaps and bounds. But like I said, I remember going to church. I remember one time they was just basically laying out the church rules, what you can and cannot do.
Yeah.
And I got so frustrated. And I was a kid. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't have been no more 8, 9, 10 years old. And they was laying out the church bylaws, what you could and could not do. Most of it was geared toward the women. And I remember saying, dang, what can you do? got slapped in the mouth. Pow! I guess I said it loud enough where other people heard me. But I was dead serious though. What
Yeah.
can you do? You have taken away everything. Anything that is pleasurable, you just basically crapped on all of it and said, in order for you to be holy, you can't enjoy yourself. You can't be living. You got to be a zombie and just walk around spitting out what the pastor done said. You know what I'm saying? I remember I went to go see one of our church members one day. My mom had sent me to their house for something. And I knocked on the door. And when she saw me, she was like, "Oh, I just got these pants on because I'm painting." I mean, she was really panicked that I was gonna go home and tell my mom she had pants on. I'm like, I didn't give a crap what she had on. I ain't never mentioned it to my mom, but I don't think my mom would have cared. But still, did it? I didn't understand going somewhere, being part of an organization that you got to be fearful that somebody might catch you with a pair of pants on. Or you gotta be fearful that you cut your hair too short. I mean, they actually gonna come by and see if your hair longer than your earline. You know what I'm saying? They used to do that crap back in the day. That I
Well,
remember. Go ahead.
you got to be careful. You got to be careful when you start talking about people in churches and leadership role or whatever you want to call it, as far as um, making bylaws and stuff like that. Because a lot of times when people start putting this stuff into practice, it's even like we're even the church ain't no different than races. There's no difference between churches, members, and the different races and nationalities. Because when you start putting rules into place, you put rules into place because of your phobias of what you don't know.
Yeah.
And in the church, a lot of times, when they had rules like that for the ladies of the church, it would cause the ladies and the men of the church knew what was inside the church.
I hear you.
And the same thing with like what Derek was saying. You got with the couple that you said had went to church. Okay, the problem may not have been with the woman. It could have been that the church had already picked a woman for the man that was coming to church because he was a good dude. You know what I mean?
I hear you. I hear you. I disagree, but I hear you.
But
remember
you know that
we
happened.
talking. Mhm.
Yeah. Oh,
You
that's what
you
it
know
was.
that happened.
Mhm.
That
But
fit.
Brian, remember when we was talking about old school versus new school?
Yeah.
I think I
I
believe.
was going in and out, y'all. My internet is
I'm
trash
sorry.
tonight, y'all. So
Go
I've
ahead,
been going
man.
in and out.
Go ahead. Finish up. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
I was through, but I'm just saying when y'all was talking about that earlier, I just remember that part about Derek, and then after that, my internet just kind of like was trash. After that, I was in and out after that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this
So I was
actually
getting
was a
bits and
conversation.
pieces.
That actually was the conversation me and Jackie had before y'all got on. I told you we talked for about an hour. About the old school versus new school. We mostly talk about trends, music, things of that nature. But once again, this plays into that old school versus new school. Because the newer pastors, I don't know if it was something that God spoke to them about before they started pastoring, but most of the newer ones have got away from that old primitive, you got to do this, got to do that, and all that stuff. And I ain't saying that people are freer in church, but some of that old stuff needed to be done away with. Case example, we had a couple that was living together. They both started coming to church. Okay, they were seeking, and when people like this just out of the blue start going to your church, they seeking something. So, but they was so dead hard on y'all shouldn't be living together, y'all ain't married. And that was the focus of everything that these people were trying to do. All they was trying to do was all they was trying to do was find somewhere to go to church that they felt comfortable. Find somewhere to go to church that they obviously was seeking God in a way that they came to that church and not none of the other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you took them being honest about their situation, and you went ham, to the point where I don't know how long they had been living together, but I know within a month they got married in the church. 3 months later, they were divorced and not even living together no more.
Cause they say you rather marry than burn.
Yeah, but I disagree with that. And I remember me and my
Yeah.
mama having a conversation about it, and she was like, "Well, what do you agree with? Because they went right in the eyes of the Lord." I said, "But you know what? Heck, if you allowed them to get into the word, if you allowed them to get involved in church, if you allowed them some space to actually get in here and grow, I'm sure they would have came to that conclusion they said.
Yeah.
But badgering them into getting married when they obviously didn't want to get married,
Yeah.
now I felt like you ruined a relationship with both of them because neither one of them ever came back to church. Because I'm sure if somebody, one of them mind, if not both of them mind, going to church ruin our relationship.
Cause
You know what I'm saying?
it's just me. You know, just like I always say, we're all under construction.
Yeah,
Everybody got
for
yellow
sure.
tape around them. It's a pardon the dust under construction. Please
Yes, sir.
excuse our mess remodeling. If you walk by everybody that you see and you imagine some yellow tape around, not crime tape, but some yellow tape around them that say caution construction,
Mm-hmm.
you will be able to look at that person and then look back at yourself because knowing that you a work in progress.
Right.
But me, I know I'm a work in progress, and one day, yeah, I do desire to pastor a church. But until God give me that, until God say this for you,
Right.
it ain't gonna happen because your desire versus what God give you, those are two different things.
Right.
You
Right.
just can't get up and say, "Oh, I think I want to preach today." It don't work.
Right.
But your number one job, whether you evangelist, minister, pastor, deacon, sister, whatever, your thing should be saving souls.
Right.
If you can't save a soul, tell somebody a story that you went through so they ain't got to go through it.
Right.
Because that's why I love my pastor, because before he was ever my pastor, my own pastor at the time didn't reach out to me. And Brian, you know this well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I was going to lose my mind. That man talked to me. He interceded for me on my behalf when I didn't even know how to pray for myself.
Right.
So when you have something like that and you know it's authentic,
Yes. Yes.
that's the
what-
biggest difference. It ain't about
That.
filling seats. It ain't about what raised on first Sunday. None of that matter. What matter is saving souls.
Yeah.
And
That's
granted,
why I say the pastor
you ain't gonna get there all at one time.
Yeah.
It's a progress. It's steps. You
Like I
think about
said.
how long it take for somebody to make their way up to the altar for prayer.
Oh yeah.
Because the first thing they gonna think, man, folks gonna be looking at me, man, they gonna think I got real problems. I just want prayer. I got a surgery coming. But that's what folks think, because they know what they hear when they get home, when they grandmas and aunties and all that stuff on the phone. Good, what they went up there for prayer for? What's going on with them?
That's the funny thing about us as a people, black people in general. We always worried about what everybody else think. If we can ever overcome that, worrying about what the next person gonna think about me,
Yeah.
if we can ever get past that, we will move forward light years ahead of other people. Because that is the determining factor most of the time for the things that we do. Especially in the community, what people gonna think about me. That
Mm-hmm.
doing this show was a obstacle for me because that was the first thing came in my mind. Came up to me, and when God kept hitting at me about doing this, it, I kept saying I ain't nobody to be talking to nobody about parenthood, being a man. Who am I? I ain't no expert in this stuff. I don't talk all that well. I think I done got better. I still got that country twang, but that's just me. I can't change that.
Man,
Mama care
hey,
how much I try.
you know that ain't going nowhere for none of us.
No. I think mine get real bad sometimes, especially when I ain't thinking about it. You know what I'm saying? But but God told me, you just do what I ask you to do. I'll take care of the rest.
Yep.
We have been doing this for a little bit over a year now, and I was telling Jack earlier about I had a white dentist from Connecticut that contacted me the other day. He direct messaged me and said that I got 2 black sons, and he said a show we did, and I got to go find the show because I don't remember which one it was. A show we did talking about how we talk to our kids about how they should act around the police if they get pulled over, whatever, and what Jackie was saying earlier about complicity, comply, do everything that man tell you to do. Your goal is to get home.
Mm-hmm.
He said that I have never talked to and they teenage boys and they driving. So he said that I never talked to him about it, because he felt like he didn't have nothing to add to, trying to tell them how to, deal with the police, because he said I ain't never experienced it. So it would be hard for me to explain to them why they should do this and when they should do it, because I don't really know how to talk to them about it. He said, but y'all show and what y'all was saying gave him the courage and a little bit of know-how on what to tell. So he said the conversation went great, and he said, but I never thought about it. He said, he said he thought that was a thing that happened in the hood. They don't live in no hood. He a dentist. They got a big house somewhere in the suburb, and
That's where it's gonna happen.
that's what I told him. I said, he said when he said they didn't stay in the hood, and he thought that only happened in the hood, and I said, well, they gonna be more privy to getting pulled over by the police because they 2 black kids in a white neighborhood in a nice car. They gonna stop them there before they'll stop them in the hood. You know what I'm saying? So, and he said, he realized that from when we was talking, So he was just praising the show, telling us to keep going. He got other white friends and stuff that got biracial kids or whatever, and he was gonna tell them to watch the show.
Yeah.
So made me feel good, and I immediately, it's like God said, you don't know who you touch.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Just because you ain't getting a whole lot of views here and there, the views will come. Y'all just keep doing what y'all do.
Yep.
So for us to touch somebody way out in Connecticut somewhere that I ain't never heard of, I'm sure, how he stumbled across us, I don't know. I forgot he said, but I can't remember what he said. How somebody he knows said y'all need to watch this or something like that, and he looked at it, or he stumbled across it on Facebook or something. He said, but I can't remember exactly how he said he got.
And that's the thing I tell you, that the flip side of that is my supervisor at work. He has a grandson that he always say he biracial, but even though his daughter is white, that he a little black boy. And I always tell him, it's gonna come a time he's not gonna be cute and cuddly and nice anymore. He's gonna be a threat.
Yeah.
And he live in one of the most racist, backwards cities in Florida. Perry, Florida. It don't get much worse than that. And I told him, start preparing him now. He's like, well, I don't know what to tell him. I was like, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You know exactly what to tell him. You tell him what you know You were born in the 50s. You've
Oh yeah,
seen it.
he definitely know.
You know what it's all about. And I said, matter of fact, you can tell him better than I can,
Hmm.
because all you gotta tell him is how you're glad that you didn't have to endure what you saw other people in your town endure just because
Hmm.
of the color of their skin.
Right.
Not because of where they live, not because of what party they voted for, not because of what school they went to, just because of the color of their skin.
Hmm.
And as a matter of fact, as he gets older, he's gonna play outside, he's gonna play football, and that sun gonna beat on him, and that dog gonna stay with him.
Oh yeah, once he get dog, it ain't going nowhere.
It ain't going nowhere.
Even though my wife don't agree with that because she keep calling me light skinned under my shirt. She, she already done said that when we all get together again, she was gonna climb. I said, you ain't that's something you ain't got to bring up. That ain't cool. Somebody, you real light skinned under your shirt. Talking about you lighter than me now. Okay, all right. I am not light skinned. I'm proud to be chocolate. Well, anyway, y'all, we gonna close it out like this. Let me say this, y'all, and then we gonna call it a day. Regardless of your background, because you could be a criminal and got your life together. You could be um just enjoying your day, and somebody pull you over because like I said, like we said, the color of your skin. Um, they fear us and love us at the same time, and it's more than enough time for us to get really proactive about who we put in the office and make sure these people understand very clearly that our black dollars, our black votes, and everything can be taken away from them immediately. And until we make that proclamation and actually start acting on it, they gonna keep coming around during election time, telling us all these lies about what they gonna do and what they ain't gonna do and how they gonna help the black community, and we fall for it every single time. So let's how about we get together and find a candidate that is worthy of running, and also somebody who we can get behind and let them know that that we're gonna put pressure on you if you don't do what you say you're gonna do. I mean, we could do it with the current establishment, but you know, as long as we got people that won't participate, it's not gonna work. Reason we was talking about the Voting Rights Act, in these Republican led states, because they are generally trying their best to stop us from voting. I know a lot of people in our community think that they vote don't count, but believe me, and I've heard Steve Harvey say this a couple of times. If your vote didn't count, they wouldn't be trying to stop you from doing it. Okay, so I need us to get together, get organized, and make sure that we get people to the polls. Make sure we get people to stay at the polls because it's going to be a rough one this time, especially here in Georgia where they have closed hundreds of polling places all throughout Georgia. So, you can expect the lines to be long. If you need to, take a day off work because it's going to be an all day thing trying to get these votes in. But don't not vote. Excuse me. I understand that the whole reason for them passing these laws is to keep you out of the polls. So just don't not vote. Do what you got to do. I don't know about the absentee ballots anymore because it's trying to make that be a thing where people had committed voter fraud, even though they ain't got n- n- no no information to back that up. They don't have no evidence to back that up. But yet, because these are, like I said, these are Republican led states that this Vote Right Act done took place in. So I'm just begging all people of color, black, brown, indifferent, whatever you are, please understand that voting gonna be rough. So let's go ahead and get prepared for it. So we do not have make the mistake of leaving or thinking that our vote don't count because they doing stuff to discourage you from going. And I'm gonna leave it at that. And if anybody else got something they want to say before we close out.
Oh man, shoot, no, hey, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that one, man. I mean, this, like you said, get out there and vote, and hey, everybody have I wish love, peace, and happiness for the world out there. Everybody, just uh, be yourself. Keep God first in your life, and everything will be all right. You got to keep God first, and like we always say, we're not perfect. We're under construction. As long as we keep God first, and he'll help us through it all. He'll help us through it.
Yes, sir. All right, y'all. We're gonna close
Sorry
it
about
out
that.
today.
His internet wasn't keeping him on.
Yeah.
His internet.
Yeah. We're
But
gonna
anyway,
have to
man,
do
I hope
something.
you can, I hope you out there and you hear us, and hopefully we see you next time, man. I hope everything good with the family.
Yes, sir. And we're gonna that's one of the reasons that we trying to say these t-shirts and stuff, y'all. Y'all go to amensclub.com and pick you up a t-shirt. We need the support. We need internet better excuse me, better internet for a couple of us, and we need cameras, and there's a lot of equipment that we need to produce this show and make it a little bit better. uh, you know, the better we do at these shows, the more people that will get on board with what we're trying to do here. And like I've said before, because I do get a lot of little hate mail about, who the hell are you to tell me that I need to go deal with my baby mama, and I don't even remember what I said about that, but whatever I said about you and your baby mama, or you trying to make sure that that woman is taken care of, so that ensures your kid is being taken care of. It's really a punk move to know that your baby mama needs something, you got it and won't give it to her. you know I don't understand why men don't understand that if the baby mama is in the pocket and she doing what she supposed to be doing, and you give her, if you make sure she's straight, your kid's straight. It ain't about you giving money to her. It's about you making sure that she has the tools she need to take care of your child. And so I say it again, and I say it to anybody's face. You got a kid out there that you're not supporting. Start supporting. Start supporting. I know every woman ain't, you know, doing what they supposed to be doing, but that ain't the point. You know, make sure your child is taken care of. If she ain't doing what she supposed to be doing, then how about you try to get custody of your kid or your child? But don't use the excuse that I don't want to deal with the baby mama, you know, to say that you don't want to deal, you don't want to try to get your child, or you don't support your child because you can't deal with the baby mama. That's a crap move. That's a bunch of boo. You know, I was a victim of somebody not seeing about their kids. My mom had to do everything. Luckily, we had my grandmama and grandfather, that helped supported my mama. But the support that she got from them, and her working and trying to support me and my sister when she came along, you know, I don't think we would have had the life we had they not had she not had her mom and daddy to help support. My aunties and uncles and all of that. We all lived in the same house at one point. So I didn't fall by the wayside, because my mom was working all the time. I ain't had no dad. I had plenty of people in my life to, keep me on the straight and narrow. But my father's support would have went a long way, you know, and just not necessarily financial support, just knowing that that cat was out there, he cared about me. If you had just came around a little bit more, came pick me up, take me for an ice cream scoop, just something I can say, man, I had fun with my dad today. I'll be glad when he come back. You know what I'm saying? But to get absolutely nothing, I ain't get your time, ain't get no money, I ain't get no emotion from you. Barely know my family members. I'm actually finna start digging into that. Because I want to know who all I'm kin to. I know some people that I'm kin to right around Ellaville, but I'm sure it goes deeper than that. I have no history beyond my grandparents on my father's side. You know, they immediate kids. I know pretty much all of them. I think it's a couple of them I don't know, but you know, it's embarrassing to me now to have family all over Georgia and all over the world, probably, and I don't know them all. You know, so trying to get that information from family members sometime ain't that quick. I got an auntie that probably would give me all the information I want, but I am going to talk to her about it. But anyway, I said all that to say this. Go see about your kids, guys. Come on, let's do that. Let's be the men that we want to see. That the men that we want our kids to be in the future. It's not that hard. It really ain't that hard. All you gotta do is pick up a phone and make a phone call and just say, "I want to see my kid." So you know, Derek got down there. Why not me? Why? And I'm sure somebody kid is saying that. Why not me? Why you can't start with me? You know, you might have several kids all over the country, but pick one of them and start with them. So anyway, I'm leave that alone. I'm get off my soapbox. You said then it just threw me into something because I, forgot that I got a comment about that. So anyway, we have been the men's code. I keep saying club, men's code, and we thank y'all for joining us today. Peace.
Take care, fellas. Take care.